Of Ouija boards on terraces. This was around 4 years ago. I was at Vidya's house when this took place, and there were 3 of us including Vidya, me and another friend Shweta. At that time Vidya was completely obsessed with Ouija boards and was dying to have a seance. I was not very keen on it since I have read that only the spirits who reside on the lower astral plane can be contacted using the board, and at times they trick you and enter our dimensions. Shweta was scared of it and refused to do it, but Vidya dragged us into it and we found ourselves up on the terrace of her house somewhere around 8 o'clock. Her terrace is pretty big with some beautiful potted plants kept around, and apart from an empty clothesline, we had it pretty much to ourselves that day. We sat in a secluded corner so that the wind could not blow our candles off and started with what we wanted to do. Let me describe the board to you. It was a homemade one. Vidya had made it herself. It was a polished and uniformly cut rectangular wooden board with numerals and alphabets painted on it, and yes/no in the top corners, hello and goodbye in the bottom corners, and sun/moon in the middle. We were using a shot glass as a pointer with a silver coin on top of it, so that we would know if any one of us was pushing the glass as the coin would slip. We started by reciting some prayers, asking for protection and that kind of stuff. We arranged the candles in a circle around us and started. We had switched off the lights in the terrace so it was only the full moon and our candles providing us with light. We tried for half an hour by asking if there was anybody who wished to talk with us, if there were any spirits with us right now, etc. Unfortunately, we got no response. The glass refused to budge and I found myself getting a little disappointed. Even though I did not want to participate in the event, I sat back leaning against the wall with my hands wrapped around myself for warmth. It was pretty cold and I had not worn any warm clothes, and it gets really cold in December. We talked about some stuff like movies, guys, etc. for a while and then decided to try one more time and go home if nothing happened this time. We had blown off our candles and had lit them again. Now, we were getting started. For the first 15 minutes there was no response. I was getting really angry at Vidya for wasting my time in this stupid thing, but didn't show it and continued what we were doing. Fleecy clouds darted across the moon, covering it completely. Now only the candles were our source of illumination and I was starting to get a little scared. It was precisely at that moment and the glass gave a tiny jerk beneath our delicately placed index fingers and moved. I was scared but awed at the phenomenon as the glass slowly moved toward yes. We asked it a few questions about who it was. It answered that it was a man who had died in a vehicle accident. We asked if it was from the sun or the moon, and on getting the response that it was from the moon, meaning from hell, we said goodbye and closed the session. We had had enough for the night, and ignoring Vidya, Shweta and I got up. We hadn't noticed it, but when we were talking with Spirit, the temperature had gone down. It might have been the wind blowing, but I thought I would mention it just the same. So Shweta and I were talking about how weird the experience was and what the heck had happened to Vidya, that she had immersed herself in this kind of stuff. When we heard her call us, she was playing with the board alone and had succeeded in contacting a spirit. We went near her but did not place our hands on the planchette and let her continue with her antics. I thought it was harmless. The next question she asked, to the spirit, was to prove its presence in the room. No sooner than she had asked the question, the glass shattered, shards flew on her arms, bloodying them. She screamed and got up. The 2 of the candles fell down as her legs knocked them down, while the other 4 just died. There was no wind blowing that time. It scared us and all of us ran out of the terrace. We helped Vidya bandage her arms and she apologized to us. She said she just wanted to see if Ouija boards were for real or not. I just said that I thought they were not good at all, and the events that night had further cemented my opinion. We didn't want a random spirit wandering on her terrace, so we ventured up again, with a lot of courage, and said some prayers, used holy water which we sprinkled liberally in the corners, and left. It was the first and the last time any of us had used an Ouija board. I don't know about Shweta since she moved to different city, but Vidya and I have never used it again, and the board is still at Vidya's house buried under her old toys and board games, and not surprisingly we are never tempted to use it again.